Good morning, everyone. It is May 16th, and I believe it's a nice 60 degrees. It is 60 degrees and cloudy in Irvine. So this morning, I got started by reviewing my calendar and my task list like I always do. And I got to thinking about the software that I'm using. Um, I'm really diligent about trying to block out my time in my calendar. So if I have a phone call or a meeting, or even if I'm talking to somebody and we're trying to schedule a meeting or a call, if any date gets mentioned, I will automatically hold like the 30-minute block in my calendar, so they're always there. So I got to look over that and just make sure that any milestones or things that I've added are actually on there. Um, and I don't have anything for today, but I have a couple of things tomorrow and Thursday. So I was looking at that and then comparing it with my task list on Asana. Now, I've been going back and forth because, on the one hand, it really helps me to use something like Asana, or you can use any task manager, but I like the fact that Asana also has a calendar and it's really nice to use. And you can separate different teams, different tasks for each one, and then have projects under each team. And so I was looking at that, but I've been going back and forth between trying to add a task for everything that I have to do for a project and then breaking that out across the calendar, which you can then sync back into Google Calendar so that you can overlay that with your events. So, like I was saying, the meetings and the phone calls, even due dates or deadlines is what I put in Google Calendar. And so I know that in order for me to be productive, I can schedule, let's say, 2 to 3 tasks at the most per day. Um, I find that usually that will fill up my time, and I usually don't have any more than 2 to 3 tasks that are the absolute most important for that day. Things pop up, sure, but then one that gives you the extra room to be able to handle some of those things, or you can actually make some progress on a different project by reserving that extra time and then picking your own task on what you actually want to do depending on where you're at. So I've been going back and forth about with that a little bit. When you leave a company and you start freelancing or you start your own company, you find that suddenly there's nobody that can, let's say, uh, mismanage time, either your teams or your own, or start fires. But you really have to be diligent about your own if you hope to make progress on anything that you're working on. Without doing that, you'll quickly find yourself behind. It's kind of like you have all the time in the world for about 2 weeks straight, and then finally on the last day you realize I got a deadline. I gotta hurry up. So I try to make sure to stay away from that. I learned that lesson a long time ago, very quickly. I bucked up a couple of projects, and they were both long-term projects. Each one was about at least like 3 to 4 months, and I took my time, made some easy progress along the way, and then leading up to the final 2 weeks, I realized that I was a lot further behind than I thought I was. And so I had to hurry up and really crank them out in the last 2 weeks, which wasn't the best thing. And you could clearly tell that I was behind. So I learned my lesson then, years ago, and I don't do that now. I actually try to front load every project that I do, and so managing my tasks this way with something like Asana helps. So again, I try to set up like 2 to 3 tasks per day that I know are the most important things that I need to get to, and try to take care of those first, and then that gives me the rest of the day to available or open so that I can take care of anything that might pop up last minute. But the reason why I've really been thinking about it is because working on some of these projects by myself, it I don't necessarily need the task list, and I find that sometimes just the act of creating it is more than enough because then I already know what to expect for the week. But sometimes I don't do it day to day. So, for example, this morning when I was reviewing my list, I was actually looking at yesterday's and making sure that I completed everything, which it turned out that I did. I finished 4 or 5 different things that I wanted to do, which would have been for yesterday and today. And there was one thing that I left off, so that one thing I'm now going to take care of today. And so it's a good way of like planning and organizing, but I haven't been using it like to like sticking to it to the T. So I'm wondering if there's maybe a better way of doing this. I know the milestones in Google Calendar works. I know that Google Calendar is the fastest and easiest thing that I can use because I'm really good between that and email. And it does have a reminder system, which at times I like to use. I've even started using, if you guys use Inbox, I started using that to save any articles that I wanted to read. Um, if you've never noticed, it has a save feature, and all you have to do is copy the link on your browser, on your desktop, or even any link that you have saved in your clipboard on mobile. And when you go to the app, in the little fav button, a small little link icon will pop up, and if you click on that one, it'll actually save the link for you right in your inbox. And that works well for me because I do strive for that inbox zero every single day, and I generally get it. Short of maybe one or two emails that sometimes I'll leave on leftover and then the saved. But I've been using that, and the reminders is nice, except that it's only on Gmail, not on Inbox. So that's where I kind of got stuck. Um, but definitely simplifying the software that I use, or eliminating the way that I do it. So sticking more towards the events and milestones rather than the individual daily tasks. Um, but yeah, that's where I've been trying to focus a lot more on productivity again, something that I regularly revisit and start to like look into again, um, just so that I can continue to improve. I like to try to systemize everything about my workflow that I do, including my design softwares, the way that I collect inspiration, manage mood boards. That's another one. Maybe we'll talk about that one tomorrow. There's always plenty of options. Options is never the answer, or excuse me, the problem. But which ones you choose is still really important. And for me, I like to have as minimal a setup as possible. Less choices, less options, less stuff to deal with. Usually ends up being my best solution and helps me move quicker. And so that's why I'm looking at tasks, because while it's really organized, it's slightly too complex for what I need, especially if I'm working on solo projects. When I have other people involved, it's not too bad. But I need something that works for in both situations a little bit, or at least that's what I'm going to challenge myself with and see if I can come up with something else. So I think that's it for the day. I have some client work I need to get to today, and I'll probably be spending the entire day on that. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Hope you have a great day. Bye.